You want to ban drag show readings to children?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do.
To my knowledge, yes.
Why?
Why?
What are you protecting?
Why can we prohibit children from voting, those under 18 from voting?
Why are you
but
banning?
Also that?
Is that free speech? Are you infringing on that performer's free speech?
No, because an adult does not have the right to impose their ideological beliefs on children without the consent of a parent. If I have made it clear that I do not want a drag performer lying to my child and telling them that homosexual behavior such as being a drag queen is okay, I have the right as a parent to stop another adult from approaching my child unwantedly. And if that parent feels that their civil rights have been violated by any institution by allowing it behind their backs, they actually can take civil action against said party and or institution, which honestly, I would recommend. It's become such a huge issue that lawmakers in at least 14 states have already drafted bills to stop this extremely inappropriate behavior. And Tennessee has been the first to institute a law protecting minors from being subjected to drag performers of any type.
What's the leading cause of death amongst children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Yeah, I know what it is. In the United States, it's abortion. It isn't gun violence. It is the termination of unborn life. According to the Pew Research Center, numbers from the CDC indicate that there were at least 930,000 abortions in 2022 alone. So, if we're talking about child mortality, then gun deaths aren't even in the same ballpark.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is. It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying to stop that because that shall not be infringed.
Once again, Jon Stewart is what we call a non sequitur. He is utilizing nothing but iniquity to disguise Drag Queen Story Hour as free speech in order to make a disjointed point about gun violence. He's hoping that the outrage over forcefully exposing children to LGBTQ ideology will subside when compared to gun violence. You, Mr. Stewart, conveniently never mentioned abortion when speaking about people's rights. I wonder why that is. I'll tell you why. Because you'd immediately realize that all the logic you used during this interview was fallacious at best. You didn't mention abortion because you know that the millions of deaths in Planned Parenthood centers overshadow gun violence deaths by literal millions. And the fact that you made this incredibly sad attempt at defending grown men dressed as women, reading to children as free speech just go to show exactly why this culture war is raging out of control. A culture war, by the way, that you are losing. Now, a Bible verse that pops into my mind when speaking about this, brothers and sisters, is from the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not turn from it. Now, whether Stewart knows this or not, he has taken an act that God finds detestable and making an attempt to dress it up as free speech. When it comes to these individuals interacting with your children, make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, we are not talking about these people's right to dress however they want. They can do whatever they want on their own free time. We're talking literally about the fact that Jon Stewart doesn't understand why there should be restrictions on what adults you allow to talk to and influence your children. Well, I can tell you why, John. Because the moment that God said a woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear women's clothing, for the Lord your God finds this detestable, that would be from the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 5. That was more than enough reason for me to ensure that my kids weren't exposed to people that decided that they were going to ignore God's commands. And Mr. Stewart, if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourself this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you were living. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord.